Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday and Happy New Year! So for the new year, we're going to learn the Kempo yakusoku technique that I teach, number 4. When I at one time had thought about being a comedian of sorts, this was the first technique that I was going to include in my comedy routine about karate because, well, you'll see. And again, for the Seidokan people, part of the reason that I teach the Kempos is to instill the concept of follow-through, of continuous until the guy's done. I'm not relying on a single punch. I'm not relying on a single entry, throw, and finish. There's multiple phases to most Kempo techniques where if the first thing doesn't go, the next thing should, and if the next thing misses, the next thing should. Story that goes with this is when I was teaching Kempo in Las Vegas back in the late mid-80s, I taught a weapon defense to a student of mine who was a professional gambler. He had just finished winning large at a poker tournament, regular poker tournament at the Sahara Casino, just right up the road from where my dojo was. And he came in the next day and told me, "That weapon defense you taught me doesn't work." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, I came out with my poker winnings and some guy found me in the parking lot and he came at me and I did the technique and I took him down and I hit here and I knocked him out and he was on the ground and I'm okay, but the part where I was supposed to break his arm didn't break." You got away, he didn't hurt you, you knocked him out, and you're telling me the technique didn't work because one piece of it, you didn't get to break his arm. I'm so sad for you. That's the nature of follow-through and flow drills in karate. If this hold doesn't work, the ability to transfer right into the next hold, the ability to do so on balance without having to jump and fall down, all of those components are part and parcel of the Kempo techniques. And there are ways to teach it purely with Seidokan, but you kind of have to superimpose and invent your own drills to do that. We don't have them inherent in our Seidokan yakusoku 1 through 11. We don't have them inherent even in the bunkai of kata. Most kata are single encounter one and dones, and there's not the what if kind of a scenario. So this is the technique. All Kempo techniques are a basic punch. We're going to step back. Now the fundamental, the original way is to step back to a half moon or a semi-horse stance and block, capture the wrist, and throw it. But as I've mentioned on the double circle blocks, typically if I use a double circle block, the controlling limb is easier to control, or the control of the limb is easier to perform. So my little modification to it for any Kempo purists out there that are watching is I intercept the punching hand early before it's at extension, whatever its trajectory is going to be. I intercept it early to draw it in, then I follow with the actual open hand or closed hand high block. Now you'll notice that's almost the same as our Jujiuke, okay, Joran Jujiuke or Age Jujiuke, cross block. But it's a 1-2. It's basically the cross block performed in a 1-2, which harkens back to what I just taught earlier, the double circle blocking and the double circle blocking with strikes. So again, I intercept early, guide the punch a little bit, drawing it in, at which point I don't capture, but I intercept the actual punch. Then I circle his arm and throw here. You'll see how that goes in a minute. Keeping my guard up here. I don't pull back because he still has another hand just in case. But I've thrown, his body will be imbalanced. This is the kazushi, the imbalancing portion. Coming down after I've thrown his arm, raking across his face. Strike with the palm, strike with the fingers. You can catch behind the jaw, scratch, whatever. Pulling his face down. As I'm pulling, this is very similar to our Seidokan yakusoku number 3, sanban. Roundhouse kick into the face that I just pulled down. Then I cover, but I don't go away yet. The goal of the roundhouse kick is to knock him down. It may or may not. If it doesn't, I can back away, I can cross inside kick, but I'm in the kosadachi ready position here. For the sake of the practice flow of the technique, when I kick, he's fallen down. I step out toward him. I'm going to jump, pull my legs up under me, in case he's kicking up or punching up when I jump. And the idea is to land horse stance, kibachi, straddling his shoulders. So from here, step out, jump up, straddle shoulders. Punching, 1, 2. Then I'm going to crescent kick, pulling his head toward me, so his head sideways. Stomp. His head being sideways, the neck is compromised. Do your own math on what happens there. And then cover step away from your attacker. Here's where the comedy routine comes in. I block, deflect his arm, throwing his arm, hopefully causing some pain to the shoulders. I scratch, rake his face, kicking him in the face or the throat. Then I jump up and across, punch his head twice, bouncing it into the concrete. Pull his head toward me, stomp, breaking his neck, cross away, on guard, in case he gets up. Therein lies the humor. If he gets up from that, please run fast. Hey, Max, onegaishimasu. You want to do it or receive it?
I'll receive it.
Let's take turns. I'll do it to you, then you do it to me. I got that. Because then they can see both sides. Just a little bit. Okay? So again, slow first. Hey, intercept early. Catch. I could grab here, but I'm not. When I take his arm, that's what's happening to his body. As I come down across his face, roundhouse kick the sternum, he falls back. Step, tuck, jump, just in case he reaches up or kicks up. Punch twice. I'm going to put pulling his face toward me, stomping, cover step in case he gets up. Would you get up? No.
Nope, I'm done.
At speed. Hey! Yes! Hey! Hi! Yep. Your turn. Now, notice not everything in there necessarily is going to do what it's intended to do. If I luck out and do it well, and his body's positioned where I want him, it'll work out okay. But, just a little bit. Fall. Hey! 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 Yeah! Hey! And that is Kempo Yakusoku number 4. Thanks for joining. Hopefully the context, the explanation, it may just be I go right into Seidokan 3, grab and kick. That might be the end of it. If I grab and kick and it's not the end, then I can pull his arm and I can continue and do the rest of Kempo 4 at the end of Seidokan 3. So there are all sorts of ways to combine all sorts of permutations, but the basic technique teaches me readiness and continuous flow until I'm certain that the encounter is over. Thanks for joining. Happy New Year again. And like, share, subscribe, visit my webpage, share the webpage, leave a comment, hit the bell, do all that other stuff. You know what to do. Until next time, as always, keep practicing.